It's time. Guys, it's finally time. We're going to be reading the longest and the shortest book on my TBR. This is a pretty daunting video. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very scared because I have high hopes for the longest book. You guys have been hearing me talk about it since December if you've been here for any length of time, but we're doing it. We're finally doing it and wish me luck. Wish me luck. So the shortest book on our TBR, I have a list on Goodreads. If you do want to follow me on Goodreads, you can go here, on Fable here, and also on Instagram over there if you want to follow me along. But this is If the Crown Fits by Leanne Gillamy, and this has 340 pages. I was going to do the highest and lowest rated book, but Alchemized is no longer the highest rated book on my TBR, so it's expanded, and I thought this better fit the prompt, so we're not just reading one book in the video. This is, I think, a debut novel, if I'm not mistaken, and it is self-published as well. I didn't realize that, so very excited to try this out. It was on a offer at my bookstore, so I got it because it was a red dot sale. If you could find the red dot in the shop, you got half price, which was very exciting. So I don't know much about this book, but it says, if the crown fits, rule number 1, don't trust anyone. Rule number 2, don't get caught. Rule number 3, never break rules number 1 and 2. So that caught my attention and I'm very excited. And I think we'll start with this one. We'll start it off easy. And then this behemoth over here is 1024 pages. It's larger than my Bible and I am so scared. I loved Manacled. Like I said, if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know Manacled was a great book. Absolutely loved it. And this is adapted from that because obviously she couldn't use the names of those characters because of copyright and all of that. So she's changed it and now it's Alchemized. Apparently it's very dark, very dreary and quite triggering. And the back it says, it's actually a quote from the book. It says, what is it you think you're protecting in that brain of yours? The war is over. Hold fast is dead. The eternal flame extinguished. There's no one left for you to save. It sounds scary and says, once a promising alchemist, Helena Marino is now a prisoner of war and of her own mind. Her resistance friends and allies have been brutally murdered, her abilities suppressed, and the world she knew destroyed. In the aftermath of a long war, Palladia's new ruling class of corrupt, gilded families and depraved necromancers, whose vile undead creatures help bring about their victory, hold Helena captive. According to the resistant records, she was a healer of little importance within the ranks, but Helena has inexplicable memory loss of the months leading up to her capture, making her enemies wonder, is she truly as insignificant as she appears, or are her lost memories hiding some vital piece of the resistance final gambit? To uncover the memories buried deep within her mind, Helena is sent to the High Reeve, on one of the most powerful and ruthless necromancers in this new world. Trapped on his crumbling estate, Helena's fight to protect her lost history and preserve the last remaining shred of her former self is just beginning. For her prison and captor have secrets of their own, secrets Helena must unearth whatever the cost. This is supposed to be a Dramini fanfic, and yeah, it's changed slightly, but it sounds very similar to the plot of Manacled. So very, very excited to start this, but this will definitely save for last because I've never read a book this thick before. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's start this reading vlog because I am nervous but really, really excited. Morning everyone. Sorry about the state of me. Again, I didn't sleep great last night and my face is really swollen. I'm at that point of pregnancy where I'm just swollen all the time. But I thought I'd give you a quick update because it's been a while since I did a check-in. So we started If the Crown Fits, which was the shortest book, obviously. You can tell. But I got quite far, actually. I'm on page 155, chapter 12 in this. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. It looks like it's overexposed there. My camera is so weird lately. I need to play with the ISO. But anyway, this has been so easy to read. I've read on the treadmill, I've read before bed, I've read in the mornings. Like, I'm just reading like a little bit at a time and I'm actually having a good time. I didn't think I would like it because I found out, well, initially I think this book was indie published, if I'm not mistaken, but it's now been picked up by a traditional publisher. I saw reviews dating back to like 2024, but originally this was published in 2021. So I think it took a few years to get picked up and it looked like the reviews were pretty positive. What's happening is, okay, let me try and explain this in the best way possible without jabbering too much. We're following our main female character, Lara, who is a bandit, or a thief, a professional thief. She gets hired or contracted to steal a piece of jewelry from the monarch. She breaks into the castle and she basically escapes, but then gets caught like in town. She is then sentenced by the prince because the king is ill or something like that. So the prince actually just sentenced her to prison, which isn't normal. Normally, if you get caught stealing from the monarch, it's treason and you normally are executed or whatever. So she's like, oh, something's funny is going on here, but I'm not going to argue. So he throws her in jail. Day later or a few hours later, she falls asleep, wakes up and gets dragged to the prince's chambers, and he strikes up this bargain with her for her freedom. So she can keep the necklace. After she's achieved what she needs to achieve, he will pardon her for everything. The bargain is that she needs to pretend that she is his sister. They go on this quest. She is literally like a little tomboy, so she's struggling to fit this mold of a princess. While they go on this journey to their autumn home or something, they stumble upon a bunch of bandits which aren't part of their clan, and they almost hurt her. She gets away, she joins another group, and it ends up being another prince, or the prince, shall we say. So we just go from there. So it is like a little fun concept. It says that there is dormant magic in here, but I'm not sure when or where that comes from. Betrayal, magic forest, romance, and royalty in a tale about a common thief, a soldier prince, and a very desired crown. I'm having fun. The writing style for me is a little bit basic. It's very, very basic. There's not many like descriptions. There's not a lot of prose in it or anything. For example, the jewelry that she's stolen, I don't know what it looks like. I just know that she stole a necklace. I don't know if it's silver, if it's gold, if it's got rubies on, if it's got sapphires on, if it's got emeralds. We don't know. He also gives her a gift at one point, which is, he says, is ruby earrings, but that's all we get described. So you kind of left to your own devices to imagine what everything looks like. She's barely been described. I don't know if she has blonde hair, brown hair, red hair. Like, I don't know much descriptions of the characters themselves except the eyes. Like, I know he has green eyes and that's all that I know. So the descriptions are not really there, but it's not deterred me from enjoying the story. So I'm having a good time, like I said, but I am like basically 50% through. I think I will read as much as I can today, probably try and get to like the 50, 60, so maybe even 70% mark, and then come back and let you know if I'm still feeling the same, and then we'll finish this up because we have a really thick book to read after that. Very glad I picked this up. I think it has like a 3.68 or 3.86, one of the two on Goodreads, a rating, so that's not too bad at all. Like anything above a 3.5 is usually all right. Today's a miserable day as well. I do have some like baby stuff to do, and then I'm gonna probably just edit and read for the rest of the day, but I will keep you guys updated for sure. Everyone, sorry about the lighting again. Today is a super gloomy day. My chair's also really loud. Today's a really gloomy day outside. It's like super misty and stuff, so I'm just using a little lamp. I literally just got out of bed and was like, maybe I should put some makeup on. So I've literally finished my last drop of coffee, put some makeup on, and decided to jump on camera because I'm determined to finish this book today. I've been dragging my feet a bit because I had other things to do. Firstly, I'm deep in the trenches of my third trimester of pregnancy, obviously, and I've just been organizing baby stuff and doing pregnancy stuff. So I've been dragging my feet with this, and not because I'm not enjoying it, because I really am, and I'm really shocked. I feel like I'm not sure if I'm out of that slump stage that I've been in all year, or if I'm actually just really enjoying this book, but I'm enjoying the way she's written it. Like I said, she doesn't go into too much detail, but she gives you just enough that you can use your imagination. Things have gone awry now, and they somehow escaped this situation, but obviously it's going to follow them. It's obvious. It's a story and things need to happen. We can't just end it there. And they were in hiding. Both of them got injured and they're trying to recover. I'm not mentioning names because obviously I don't want it to be too much of a spoiler, but obviously Lara is one of them, who's our main female character that we're following, and then our main male character. Like I said, she's a bandit, and they have like a hideout that they're hiding out in now. But there is a rebellion that is brewing. Lara wants no part of it, and obviously neither does the prince or whatever he is. No one wants anyone to die, and no one wants to go to war. So that's kind of where we're at. This is part of a trilogy, so I think this is going to leave off on a cliffhanger. I have that much left. I'm around 80% through, so I am determined to finish this morning, which is why I put on makeup even though I'm still wearing my pajamas. I'm gonna have my second cup of coffee. I have decaf. Second cup of coffee, and I'm going to finish this before today ends. I have around just under 100 pages, I want to say. Yeah, probably like 95 pages left, so I could probably do that in a couple of hours. So I'm going to do that that, and then I'll come back to you guys, let you know what I think. It's sitting at like, I want to say 3.5. Really enjoyable, really fun, but like I said, there are just like key bits that are missing that like just makes a book that much better. So it is YA and you can feel it, which is fine. I don't mind YA at all. It's just that, like I said, there's no like real descriptors. There's no real, I don't know, there's just nothing like that's making this stand out from anything else that I've read, but it's really, really enjoyable, really bingeable, really easy to read. Okay, so I just finished it, finally. It did take me about 2 hours and 15 minutes, I want to say. But I was also up and about doing stuff, talking to my husband and stuff. So I wasn't just solely reading, but it did take me let's say 2.5 hours to finish. And I'm really happy I read it. I'm really happy I bought it. I thought it was really fun. It was very YA, I'd say, but at the same time, there was enough happening that kept me intrigued the whole time. And there was no lulls in the book where I was like, oh my gosh, this is boring. Can we move on? I would definitely recommend. Like I said, I don't know what the finished copy looks like. I think it has purple on. If I'm not mistaken, I'll pop a picture over here that came up on Goodreads. But this is what my cover looks like, and I'm pretty sure it's self-published. If you can see over there, no, there's no publisher or anything on there. And then I'm not sure what that is in the front over there, but there's no real publisher. Like I said, had fun. It was a quick read, quick, easy, fun read. It was easy to understand. There was no candy coating. There was no flowery writing. It was pretty straightforward. I do not think I will continue the series. Like, I don't know, if I could find the other books, I guess I could continue the series, but there's no like real draw to continue it. But this being the shortest book on my TBR, I am really happy that I had such a good time. I do prefer shorter books. I'm not a long book girly at all. Long books just intimidate me, and I feel like they just allow too much space for people just droning on about things that don't need to be droned on. So we'll see in the next book if it warrants being over 1,000 pages. I think it will. I think it's going to be the best long book I ever read, but we'll see. That's just my prediction, but I'm going to settle on a 3.5. Like I said, for this, it was so fun. I would recommend. It's a good palate cleanser. It's great if you were doing like a 24-hour readathon because it's so quick and easy to read. It's so easy to understand. There's no confusion, and like I said, there's not too much description in it, and there's not just using words for the sake of filling pages. So really happy with this as the shortest book that we read. So stoked, and would recommend, like I said. But now we're going to start Alchemize. I don't know if I'm going to start it today or if I might start it tomorrow. I need to pace it. I'm still really terrified of picking it up because I have really high expectations, but we'll read the prologue together and then see what happens. I might check in. I don't know. It's so big though, but I know it's in 3 parts, so I might read part 1 and then check in. I'm not sure. We'll have to play it by ear. Like I said, shortest book done. Happy 3.5. I wasn't going to check in yet, but respectfully, what the fuck is going on? I am so confused. I'm 100 pages in, and this has been the longest it's ever taken me to read 100 pages. I just do not understand what is going on. I think this book could have done with a glossary for sure, because there's so many terms and stuff that I have no idea what they mean. And I just kind of kept reading because people just told me to keep reading and said that it will all kind of click later. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the writing is so choppy. Is that the word? I wouldn't say, yeah, it's a bit clunky and a bit choppy. Like the sentence structures are really short and really like to the point, and I just feel like, I don't know, there's a bit where I wanted to read to you guys. Sorry, I'm really struggling to hold this up. There's a bit that I wanted to read for you guys, but I can't find it now. But it's just like, I'm going to read a little bit out. I hope this is not spoilers or anything, but it's out of context so you won't know. So it says, her mind did not care whether the fear made sense. It just wanted to never go back. Full stop. Farron was silent for so so long that she finally looked up at him, morbidly curious, but he was unreasonable. Full stop. Still as a statue as he stared at her. Full stop. It was the first time she'd bothered to just look at him, to see him for what he was, rather than who he was. Full stop. His clothing hid it well, but he was strangely slight. Full stop. Not at all built like an iron alchemist. Full stop. If you get my drift. It's just like, the sentences are just like boom, 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 boom. It's not like painting a nice picture. So I'm finding it difficult to like keep up with it and I don't know. It's just like my brain can't wrap itself around the writing style right now. The further I get, I'm sure I'll get used to it. But yeah, 100 pages is like what, 9% through the book? So we still have a far way to go. I'm not disliking it in any way. It's just, I thought there would be nods and a little bit of familiarity with Manacled, but so far, not so much. She's changed basically all the magic. I know who like Cain Farron is supposed to be. The founding family and like Hogwarts and Manacled is obviously completely different. It's like a alchemy institution. I don't know. I'm just really confused. I can't even really tell you what the story is about, but I'm going to try. I've already been talking for 3 minutes, but I'm going to try. We have Helena Marino, who is a prisoner, and she's an unregistered prisoner, and no one understands why. They have these people in stasis, which is like in in sci-fi movies where they go to space and they're like submerged in water, and then they take the body out and like reanimate it or whatever. So she's like that, but she's not supposed to have woken up, and she wakes up and she tries to climb out this tank, whatever, and she finds out that she's in like this prison. She has manacles on and whatever. They inspect her, and this doctor comes, and she is trying to figure out who she is. So she like does some mind control stuff, and she realizes her brain has been altered completely, and there's like roadblocks everywhere, and it just doesn't make sense. Because the resistance lost the war and the bad guys obviously won, she was from the resistance, and she's the last living member of that resistance. Anyway, so this high necromancer guy, which I'm assuming would be Voldemort if it was still the same. This high necromancer guy, he's like the top of the top. He wants to know what she's hiding in her brain, because there would be no reason to alter your brain or someone's brain if they were not hiding something. So they're going through all these lengths to figure out what she is hiding in her mind. She is now given to the High Reeve, which is like the general, I guess, of the army, and he is trying to figure out what is going on in her brain. So that's kind of what I have surmised from it. I don't know if that makes any sense. I was trying to explain it to someone before, and it also just doesn't make any sense just yet. That's how far I've gotten. She is now with Aaron, which obviously if you've read the book, if you are in the whole know of it, you'll know who that is, but still it's quite jarring the way the book has been written. It's very like short, concise sentences. I wouldn't even say concise. It's just, it feels limited. Like we need a little bit more. The sentence structure could flow a little bit better. The paragraphs just don't. It's jarring. But anyway, that is how I'm feeling so far. I thought I'd just do a quick check-in, but I'm going to read all the way to part 2, which will take us to page 270, and then I'll get back to you guys and let you know if anything has changed. Right now I'm feeling nothing, like not too enticed, not too deterred. Like I'm just somewhere in the middle where I'm like, okay, kind of just want to get on and get into the thick of it so that I know what's going on. Hi guys, I think it's time for an update. I made it to part 2 finally. Ouch, this book is so heavy. So I made it to part 2, like I said. Page 278 is the last page I read, and we're moving forward. This book is so heavy. Anyway, I'm not going to lie, the first 200-ish pages were really difficult to get through. I struggled to stay concentrated. I struggled to stay motivated. It's taken me 4 days to read 200 pages, and I just felt like the world building was a little bit overwhelming. There was so much information given, but at the same time, the explanations weren't enough for me to understand. I don't know if that makes sense, but there was so much new language or new words and new titles and new magic that we had to learn, but it wasn't explained correctly or in enough depth for me. So I was a little bit like confused, and I was like, what is going on? But I pushed through, and once we crossed over the 200-page line, it got really interesting, and I kind of got some connections with Manacled. But again, I don't know if anybody said this before, but don't expect it to be anything like Manacled. There are little nods to it, but it's completely different. With the alchemy and that type of magic or elements or whatever, it's completely different from Manacled. world. So I was a little bit shocked by that because I thought she would still keep the baseline of the story similar but change things that gave the nod to the Harry Potter universe or world or whatever like that, like change the magic and stuff. But it seems that a lot has changed, and a lot of the information I feel like is somewhat unnecessary so far. Like I found just her repeating like things that happened during the war and some things like with people that weren't relevant. I just felt like it was irrelevant. But anyway, now that I'm going to put that down. Now that we've passed all of that, I am enjoying it a lot more, and it is going so much faster. But I had to Google, I don't even know what my Google search was, but I kind of just Googled what the type of alchemy and all of that was in Alchemized because I didn't understand it. So I'll pop this on the screen, but it says, in Alchemized by Sin-Lin Yu, alchemy is a powerful material science governed by resonance, the innate life force humming through people and matter. So I didn't know what resonance was, and it mentioned it so many times, and I was like, I don't even really understand what it is. And it says it goes far beyond changing metal. It acts as both a miraculous healing tool and a weapon of control, with each transformation demanding a physical or spiritual cost. The magic system is divided into 4 main branches, with each tier demanding a higher, more dangerous sacrifice than the last. So the magic takes a toll on you. Everything that you output, you have to kind of counteract. So everything has an effect, which isn't explained in the book. There's nowhere that that's explained. I just didn't get it, and I was kind of just like, okay, maybe it will come to me, maybe it will come to me. And then after Googling it, I think I got a better understanding, and now it all makes more sense. These are the 4 elements, I want to say. It's inorganic alchemy, which is manipulating and reshaping physical materials like metals to construct and build. Then we have vivimancy, which is manipulating human flesh and blood. It is used legitimately by some as a profound healing practice, but corrupted by the ruling regime for brutal experimentation, torture, and control. Then we have necromancy, which I already knew what that was, which is obviously manipulating and reanimating dead. And then we have animancy, which is the rarest form, which is also the most dangerous form, which can alter your mindset. None of that was explained. Like, I don't understand why she would have put all these terms in and not explained it. And there isn't even a glossary. So I'm also going to pop this on the screen. I have a little thing that, I don't know if you guys saw that, that kind of explains everything. Like there's a necrothor, which I kind of thought was like similar to like house elves and stuff that they have in Harry Potter, but this is a more darker side of things. We have transmutation, which I knew from transfiguration from Harry Potter. So there's a lot of terms that's what I'm trying to say. There are a lot of terms that aren't explained enough for me to understand. Like I don't like describing things for the sake of describing them. This is important because it's integral to the story, because that's their magic system, and I didn't understand it for the longest time until I Googled it, and then I was like, okay, I get it. And that's when everything started flowing. So maybe the first 150 pages I was just like, what am I reading? Like it just felt like gibberish, or gibberish, however you want to pronounce it. It just didn't make any sense to me. But now that I understand it, it's making more sense, and I'm enjoying it so much more. I'm not getting the 5-star feelings that I thought I would, and maybe it's that 150 to 200 pages that we started off with that wasn't great. I'm going to keep going. I think the next time I'll check in, we'll definitely try and make it to the next part, which I have no idea, or maybe halfway. Maybe we'll check in halfway. Halfway will be at page 518. So let's check in halfway and see where we're at, because I'm going to try and commit some time. I have a week until my husband gets here. Like literally today's Sunday, he arrives next week Saturday. So I don't have much time to read anymore. So I need to make the most of it and read as much as possible. I just have a few YouTube videos I'm currently watching, and then I'm going to get into reading and try and get as far as possible. But not giving me 5-star feelings, but also not a low rating, because now that it's picked up and it's nodding a little bit more towards Manacled, I'm enjoying it more, and I like the darkness of it. There were some bits where like it was quite gruesome, like there was a bit with an eyeball, and I was just like, I like that type of writing. I still find her like general writing style very jarring because it's so like choppy and clunky. Other than that, the story itself is starting to make more sense. I'm still trying to figure out the characters of like Luke and Layla or Lila, and it's not making too much sense because I don't know what their relevance is to it, but I think right now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the book. So long book, but I feel like the first maybe 200 pages should have been condensed down to 100 200 pages, and it should have done with a glossary, which would have eliminated the need to write those 200 pages, in my opinion anyway. There was also a part, sorry, I'm just carrying on now. There was a part like describing the world before the war and stuff, and like just some of that information I found like was so irrelevant. Like we didn't need to know that. Other than that, I like the story with our two main characters, who's Helena and Kane. I like that story. Every time she goes back in time, I'm like the Doctor as well. I'm trying to figure her out. Yeah, what her relevance is. Obviously, we have the High Necromancer, and he's obviously supposed to be like Voldemort or the equivalent to that. I figured that stuff out, but there's little bits and pieces where I'm like, oh my gosh, like annoying. The part with like where it was Montgomery in Manacled, now it's Lancaster, that part as well connected, and I felt like it was done better in Alchemized than it was in Manacled, because Manacled was a little bit like jarring. Anyway, I'm rambling now, but I am enjoying myself now, and I think from this point onwards I might fly through this. Friends, oh my gosh, this hoodie always makes me look so hench and boxy. And also, I think my mic is touching my neck, so I'm gonna move it over. But I thought I'd give you guys another update. So I'm not quite halfway yet, but I have like a couple of chapters left, like that much until I get to halfway. But I was reading this morning. I've been doing like free sprints and stuff just to get ahead. I'm starting to get really bored, and I found myself, I was just about to start this chapter, which is page 498, chapter 42 over there, and I was just about to start it, and I found myself wanting to start skimming. My eyes were just going over the page like this, and I was like, whoa, this means we're fatigued from this book and I need to take a break, because I was just going to read to halfway so I could give you guys an update, but I'm getting bored. I'm getting really bored. This book is too long. It's too long. Some of the information I just feel like we need to move on from. Like there's this part now where, if you've read Manacled even, you'll know it's broken into like 3 parts. So it was like pre what happened, and then post what happened. No, I lie. It's post what happened, pre what happened, and then present at the end. So we're in the past now, which is the biggest chunk. And it's like we're just going over the same things over and over. He's trying to teach her some things. They are enemies to lovers, and it's just going back and forth. And I'm like, I'm over it. Can we move on now? We get that the war is bad. We get that all these things happen, but it's too in depth. Like we don't need to know every single in and out of the war and what caused who to do what. Like we don't need to know in that much detail. Yes, it's important information for the backstory, but it's not that important to the general plot of things. So I'm getting bored. I never thought I would say this, but I'm getting so bored. And I still have like that much of the book to go. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And my husband arrives in like 4 days. So I was hoping to finish this in 4 days, but if I'm that fatigued from reading it now, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And I want to give this book the best chance because it's one of my most anticipated books for this year. And I know it came out last year, but I saved it because I was waiting to be ready to read it, and I thought it was. I was like not feeling slumpy anymore. I was very energized and I don't know what to do. I'm going to give myself a break for the rest of today because I did wake up and read about 3 hours this morning. I'm going to give myself a break until this evening, try and see what happens, but I'm not going to force it. My plan was to finish this before my husband arrived, like I said, and then I would be done all my filming until after birth and all of that. But I'm just going to keep going until I finish it, I guess. And I'm not going to rush it because I don't want to get into a slump, firstly, and secondly, do this book a disservice. The writing style, again, like I said, it's too choppy and it just messes with my head a little bit. I feel like things that need to be explained aren't explained very much. Like as I was saying about what the different classes of the alchemy and stuff were, like I had to go Google that. I didn't understand it from what the book had told me. With the war, we're just getting so much information about who did what and who went where and who took over what. It's not really that relevant to what's going on to the two main characters, in my opinion. So I don't know guys, but I just caught myself this morning and I was like, you can't be skimming this. Like this is an anticipated book. You can't be skimming it. It's still sitting probably at like a 4-star, I would say right now. But if it carries on going like it's going, I don't know if I'm gonna like it that much. And I think part 3 only starts at like 800, fucking hell, 850 something, I think 853. I still have that much to read of the past before we move into the present. Anyway, I'm hoping. I don't want to be negative. I don't hate it. I'm just bored. There's just too much. I think I'm repeating myself over and over now. But anyway, let me go, and I think I'm just going to get back to you guys when I get to part 3, whether that be in 4 days, a week, a month. I'm not entirely sure. No, it can't be a month. I'm 2 weeks away from having to post this video, so I still have 2 weeks. Fingers crossed it gets better because I'm so fucking bored. Check-in time. I just reached part 3. I can't even hold this book up. My wrists are so weak, but I just reached part 3. I think it's page 858. No, 857. I just feel like this book is dragging on for so long. Part 2 took forever. It took forever to get to the point, even though we knew kind of where it was going because of the beginning of the book. I just felt like it was too long, and I feel like because it was so long, I've lost all momentum with it, and it's not hitting as hard. I was told to go and read the prologue after finishing part 2, and yeah, it hit a little bit harder and it made more sense, but I didn't like cry and sob like everybody else did, so I'm not entirely sure. I do like the story, but like I said, it could have done with a lot of trimming. I also think this book could have done with being a duology split into 2. I think it could perhaps have been more impactful that way, but just such a long book, and I don't know if it's because I'm a slow reader, but it just feels like it's taking forever, and there's a lot of repetition and the same things going on, the same mistakes being made, our main female character being naive and trying to take everything on herself, and just the same old thing, and it's very frustrating. I do like the story, like I said, and I feel like it is impactful, but it's taking the longest way to get there. So yeah, I have the last bit to read. It says I'm like 85% through it now. We should see the end very soon. I have like 4 days left to read this and get this video uploaded, so hopefully I can do it. My husband is here now. He arrived like 2 days ago, I want to say. So yeah, not a lot of reading has been done. Also, I'm like deep in my nesting era, so I've been doing a lot of like baby stuff. So this I'm only reading like an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, which I guess is pretty good, but it's taken me almost 7 days to get as far as I am now. I like the story, hate the writing style, hate that it's taken so long to get to where we need to go. Some points I feel like we didn't need to know as much history and background and politics that was put into it. Like it felt like it just trying to make the story longer and try to steer away from manacled as much as possible, which was unnecessary because we all kind of knew where the story came from. But anyway, I feel like I'm talking in circles now. That is my check-in. Still, long books are not for me. It's so intimidating. I don't know what I'm going to do when I get to Crescent City because those are huge and I'm dying to read them, and I love Sarah J. Maas's worlds, but I don't know. This didn't need to be so long. I'll chat to you guys when I am finally finished this. I finally finished it. Finally. Oh my gosh, it took forever. It feels like I read this book for months and months and months. I can't even remember what happened in the first book that we read in this video, but we finished it. I've kind of edited this video already, and I've repeated myself numerous times about things that I liked and things that I disliked, so I'm not going to do that at the end over here. All I'm going to say is it could have been trimmed down. It could have been 200 pages less or even 300, and this would have been a straight 5-star. But I got so fatigued of reading the same thing over and over, the repetition, kind of like I'm doing now. It just didn't hit as hard as I wanted it to. I'm really, really disappointed because this was such an anticipated book for me. But like I said, the shortcomings outweighed the good things, unfortunately, and it was mostly the writing style that I feel like was to the detriment of the book. I am going to say this though, the part about the guards and all the different guards and all of that, it had no relevance in the rest of the story. We spent so much time in part 2 talking about the guards and how the holdfasts put the guards first, but there was no relevance. And we had that sunstone, and what happened to that? It was mentioned a couple times and then it was just gone. So I don't know why we spent all that time explaining these things and had absolutely no relevance to the story. Like I said, this would have been better as a duology. I think it would have hit so much harder, or if it was just a shorter book. So unfortunately, The Longest Book, it's not a bad book. It's not a bad book. It's not at all. I like the story, like I said, but it was just a slog to read it. This is very hard for me to say, but I'm going to give this a 3.75. I was thinking like 3.75 or a 4, and like I just want to give it a 4 because it was such an anticipated read and I want it to be good, but I'd be lying if I say this was a great book because it didn't feel that way to me. It took me a lot to sit down and actually read. I didn't want to. Like sometimes I would have to look at the chapters and be like, oh, it's 20 pages. I don't know if I want to do this, and then I'd put the book down. So that for me just shows that I wasn't completely captivated by it, and it is largely due to the writing style, like I said, and the amount of repetition we had. That's the longest book on my TBR. Hopefully it's the longest book for a while until we get to Crescent City and read all those books. I'm kind of disappointed. You guys will remember, but I did not. We read If the Crown Fits. I gave this a 3.5 as well. So the longest and the shortest book basically have the same rating in my eyes on my TBR. This is a 3.5. I had so much fun reading this. It was way more fast paced. It also was YA, and I would recommend this as like a palate cleanser or just like a quick fantasy read. And like I said, for younger readers as well, this is really, really fun. I actually think I might continue the series if I can find it because I really actually want to know what happens. But that is it for today's video, reading the longest and the shortest book on my TBR. My wrist hurts. I cannot hold that book up any longer, and I'm so glad to be done with it. I was saying to my husband last night, I can't wait to finish this book so I can just pick up my other reads, because the next video you will see is my July hopefuls, and there's some good books on there. It's July and August because July is my birth month, well, my birth month, the month I give birth in. So I have like a lot of fun books in there. So I'm excited to start reading that. I'm like starting to wind down at this point in my pregnancy. I've done most of my videos for the next 6 weeks or however long I'm taking off. So I'm just starting to wind down and I just want to relax. So I want to read a book without too much pressure. And unfortunately, Alchemist put me in a place where I felt pressured to read it and finish it. If I was reading it on my own time, I think I would have liked it even less because I would have read it even slower. That is it. I'm just rambling now. Thank you so much for watching. This is the last live video that I have pre-filmed. It's not even pre-filmed. This goes up today's Thursday. It's going up on Saturday. So in a few days, this is the last live video. Thank you so much for being here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also share my videos if you think there's any books or any opinions in here that you think your friends or family members would like. Please just go ahead and share. Also, please do engage with this video. It does help me out so much. Even if you just put a random comment, that would help so much. And obviously I'm going to be having a baby in a couple of weeks, so yeah, wish me luck. The rest of my videos are, like I said, pre-filmed. I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to be ready because she could come any day from now on. I'm 35 weeks pregnant, so she could come at any time. Thank you so much for all your support. Like I said, please remember to like and subscribe and share if you can. Also engage, and I'll see you all in my next one very soon. Next time I'm live, I'll be a mom. Bye guys.